Hello, I'm James Devine, and this is my presentation on sport and politics for Ethics and Sports Journalism 2023-2024. What I will be covering in this presentation, I'll be starting with the link between sport and politics and moving on to why that could be a problem. I'm going to go through three issues, which are violence and uproar, event cancellations and withdrawals, rivalries and fan disappointment, and then I'm going to go through what would be the benefit of a politically free sporting environment. I'm going to end with a conclusion, and then I'm going to go through my reference list that have helped me make this presentation. So, what is the link between sport and politics? Well, by definition, politics is the set of activities that are associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power relations among individuals, such as the distribution of resources or status. So, where does this fit in with sport? Well, sport includes lots of status that needs distributing. Sport has become a leading force of entertainment and is, and always has been, insanely popular. So with this comes incredibly large amounts of revenue and power, which all involved would like a slice of. Because of this, sport has become a major platform for any message or promotion to be displayed. As anybody who is familiar with sport knows, advertisement is hugely apparent. Advertisement and sponsorship can be seen everywhere within competition, around the stadium, on the clothing worn by athletes, and on TV broadcasting. So with all this opportunity to promote, this can be taken by the wrong people. Decision making in sport often comes under scrutiny, but when them decisions are political, money motivated or power motivated, it opens up another window of scrutiny. So why could this be a problem? Well, politics in sport, as previously mentioned, can have a massively detrimental impact on sport and society. Sport has been used as a platform to push propaganda and ideology, such as Adolf Hitler using the Munich Olympics in 1936 to try and prove his ideology that the German team, full of Aryan race, so blonde hair, blue eyes athletes, were superior to wider society. This became a problem as the event and sporting excellence was overshadowed. Now, the worry surrounding politics in sport generally is exactly that the achievements, hard work and sacrifice of athletes is outweighed by off-field situations. So what other issues that politics in sport has caused? Firstly, violence and uproar. Sport has been used as a platform for acts of violence and hostility. A key example of this is the Munich 1972 massacre. 8 Palestinian terrorists scaled the Olympic Village fences in disguise to attack and hold hostage Israeli athletes. This obviously took all focus off the Olympic Games and mainstream media became in panic. Over 900 million people watched the hostage coverage, which massively decreased the viewership for the Olympic Games. And during this, 11 Israeli athletes were killed. Now, the fact that athletes were unsafe from wider conflict that was out of their control became very worrying. Because as we know, conflict and war has always unfortunately had a place in the world. So athletes representing conflicting countries still have to worry if this could happen again. This horrible act furthered the troubles between Israel and Palestine, but brought Palestine more attention from other countries regarding their years of suffering under Israel. The Munich massacre instigated a sweeping retaliation from Israel, which is still a current issue to this day, as both countries are still in conflict. The next issue is event cancellations and withdrawals. Now, politics has also had an effect on athletes participating in sport. A main example of this is that of the LA Olympic Games in 1984 and the Moscow Olympic Games in 1980. So in 1980, the USA boycotted the Olympics in Moscow in protest against the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, which America massively disagreed with. The USA refused to send their athletes to compete within the Soviet Union borders, and with the USA being one of the Olympics' most competitive countries and most viewed areas, this collectively decreased the value of the Olympics in 1980, much to the Soviet Union's dislike. So, in retaliation, the Soviet Union and its satellite states decided they would boycott the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, which had a similar impact, as withdrawing major competitors and viewership numbers, the Olympics value took a major hit. Now, decreasing the value of these tournaments bears very badly on the economy of participating countries. For example, smaller nations competing are not at fault for the other countries' protests and withdrawal, but yet are financially punished as a result. This affects future Olympics as funding for athletes, facilities and coaching takes a cut due to a lack of resources. My final issue is the rivalries and fan disappointment. Now, off-field politics have meant friction between clubs have built all over the world, but none bigger than the Old Firm derby in Glasgow between Celtic and Rangers. Now, this stems from the political and religious division of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Britain, which is responsible for many of the troubles faced between these countries in the 20th century. So, Rangers are the British side. They're a Protestant-orientated club, and they wear orange and blue to represent the Orange Order in Northern Ireland and are vocal in their support of the British Army, the Royal Family, and the UVF, the Ulster Volunteer Force. Whereas Celtic are a Roman Catholic club, whose fans are vocal in support of the Irish Republican Army and often raise the tricolour flag of the Republic of Ireland. They carry deep hatred and bitterness towards the UK government and the royal family. To add to their massively different belief systems, which transcend football, they are the two best teams in Scotland, meaning every domestic cup final is played by them two, and the league title is decided by the games they play against each other. So this added incentive to beat one another for bragging rights and for silverware, alongside their innate hatred towards each other, has made this a huge rivalry, with plenty of violence and disagreements going on in and around the ground. So this added bitterness has resulted in away fans being banned from either stadium when the two face off. So if Celtic were playing Rangers at Celtic, no Rangers fans would be allowed in, and the vice versa, if the game was played at Rangers, no Celtic fans would be allowed in. This has definitely caused huge disappointment within both fan bases, anger and annoyance, as obviously fans would like to go watch their team, no matter where they play. So, what would be the benefit of a politically free sporting environment? Well, it would definitely make a warm atmosphere within sport, as fans could put aside their views and beliefs and really take in the sporting excellence on show. This would definitely make fans more united. A big factor also is the separation of politics and sport in the media. Sport and politics should not really be written under the same category, and I think if these were separated, it would definitely rev up more appreciation for athletes, who the focus could be on their achievements, hard work and sacrifice, as it is hard work to get to the real top of any sport. This increased exposure for athletes then would generate them more money, more definitely exposure, more fame, more glory, and it would definitely increase the value of the athlete. So to conclude then, it is important to note that politics in sport will most likely always be prevalent. However, as shown in the previous slides, this can be a hugely negative aspect of sport. Politics being portrayed, infiltrated and demonstrated within sport has accomplished far more negatives than positives. It is within the interest of fan safety, athlete safety and the protection of sports excellence, popularity and heritage to limit politics' environment and involvement within sport. So ultimately, politics and sport should be kept separate. This is my reference list, of which I have used information and data from to help put together this presentation. And thank you very much for listening. Thank you.